Where? I can't... Where the hell am I? I can't find us anywhere on here. Yeah, you guys like that, huh? I'm like Casey Neistat. Artsy. Welcome to the most pretentious video that I have made. We're at Cedar Point today because I am Midwest garbage, and we started the day off at a balmy 59 degrees. It was beautiful. How are you enjoying the weather? Ow. No one cares. I'm filming this on Monday, and Nintendo Direct is coming out Wednesday, so I want to talk a little bit about that in the context of the E3 wind-up and how I'm actually very excited this year. This is garbage. I hate this already. It's worth mentioning that not only am I terribly sick, but also I'm not using the snowball like I usually do, so I'm starting off strong by having the audio be as bad as it can possibly be. Play Old Town Road. One of the things that really made Nintendo Direct stand out the way that it does was because 2 years ago they debuted Nintendo Direct with the reveal of the Nintendo Switch. Nintendo Direct set a very important precedent for itself early on by releasing all the formal information about the Switch in the week before E3. Since all of the other game developers were saving all of their big release information for the conference itself, it kind of allowed Nintendo to dominate the dialogue in the games industry and access a spotlight that other developers hadn't really created at the time. Can I please have soda? You better look out. That water looks icy. Oh look, there's fish down there. Goldfish. So this year at Direct and E3, Nintendo is predicted to talk about a lot of the properties that we've seen from them already, or things we've already heard of, like the new Pokemon games, new Animal Crossing. There are rumors about another character update for Smash, but I think Nintendo's come up with a really interesting formula that'll allow them a compelling presentation at E3 with, reasonable expectations. As far as other publishers go, it may be a bit of a different story. Wanted for cheating at cards, fishing illegally, petty theft, and the quadruple kidnapping, torture, and murder of 4 innocent Vermont women. We just caught the very last ride of the day, Gatekeeper. And as an aside, this is one of the best coasters at this park because the hanging cars make it feel like it's basically an Iron Man flight simulator. And that's actually something I want to talk about. PlayStation is a platform that I've actually gotten into only in about the past year, and I'm actually very excited for their E3 presentation, because I feel like they do some of the most unique work available at E3. Iron Man PSVR is one of my most anticipated titles for the PS4 coming out fairly soon, because it's just such an interesting, such a fascinating concept to me. I don't even have PSVR, but I might get it. But I feel like PlayStation delivers some of the most unique, groundbreaking content that's available in first-party games lately. In the past E3s, PlayStation has shown games like God of War 4. They have games like The Last of Us, Beyond Good and Evil. They've headlined with things like Detroit Become Human, Spider-Man PS4. Games that are really not very much like things you've seen before, and that really kind of push the limits of what people are doing in gaming right now. I think one of Nintendo's strong points is that they always kind of provide us with the things that we least expect. The Switch is the perfect example of that, because there was no other console that was focusing exclusively on local co-op. And it wasn't about the specs, because they built a console that I can fit into my back pocket, and I can just go play Mario Kart with my friends. And that's really the most important thing about the Switch. I expect PlayStation to talk about hardware at E3 to a certain extent, because the next PlayStation they're making has all SSD memory, and they're boasting that it'll have no load screens. So I expect tech talk from them. It's fine, but honestly, console tech talk is not really the thing that excites me very much about E3. It's all about titles to me, which is why I'm looking so forward to both the Nintendo and the Sony conferences, because they place titles above everything else. to Cedar Point and ride the Maverick, which has a height of 105 feet, a speed of 70 miles an hour, an angle of descent of 95 degrees, and a duration of 2 hours and 30 minutes. On the real though, on the 95-degree drop, I had my girlfriend's phone in my jacket pocket right here, and the straps on the coaster were not as tight as I realized, so I almost dropped it literally on the first drop of the coaster, and was like clutching it furiously for the remainder of the ride. This is the most Midwest shit. Microsoft has a little bit of a different presentation style and have thus had a bit of a different history with their conferences. One of the most important things to consider in this is that Microsoft is, first of all, a computer company. So when they do their presentations at E3, they focus way more on hardware than anyone else. The presentation history of Project Scorpio has been by far the best example because the whole presentation is extremely hardware intensive. And honestly, I think that's a weak point of theirs. And one of Microsoft's biggest problems is that they have a lot of Xbox exclusives that are kind of forgettable IPs that sort of run together. We have things like Crackdown 3, Halo Guardians, Gears of War 4, where they are not games that feel that different from one another. So I feel like if Microsoft isn't willing to shape up the titles that they're actually producing and stop focusing as much on hardware, I feel like they'll continue to produce more forgettable exclusive IP, and ultimately the end of the life cycle of the Xbox One will be pretty unremarkable. And as much as I want to believe in Microsoft, it's hard to be able to predict that differently. Did it look cool?
No.
So I guess, in conclusion, I'm cautiously excited about E3 as much as I usually am, and that's a lot more excitement than caution. I think this is a really interesting time of year for just games culture, because we kind of get to see the state of the medium, the state of the industry, and what people are bringing forward that they hope is going to be really groundbreaking. So we've had a lot of really successful E3s, a lot of really weird ones, especially if you watched the Ubisoft conference. But either way, whatever happens at E3, I always end the conference with a lot to look forward to, and I'm sure that they'll deliver on that this year. So, thanks for watching.